True.
Especially when one is hideously ugly, and
First of all, she's a cute girl. The guy who just said that is a grown man. He looks like a little boy. You don't need to be attracted to her, you freak.
yes, blackwashing and miscegenation are absolutely woke. If it's being shoved into every TV commercial and movie...
Who the f watches commercials anymore? Not only is this dude racist, he can't even afford Netflix.
kind of ironically enjoy how gross Abby looks in the game.
Didn't this guy say he wanted to get railed by Abby?
You don't think that's propaganda? Can you not think of a single reason why maybe that's being shoved in your face?
If you're gonna at least be one of those master race people, you have to at least look like it. This is what this guy looks like, by the way. This is him right here, this guy. Listen, we gotta get this party started. Stormtrooper's still going strong. Isn't that incredible? It deflated a little bit, but it's still pretty strong. Anyway, before we start, Papa Got Leftovers, YouTube, in the description. I have to start plugging that more. Now that you know about that, we can move on. We haven't talked about Synthetic Man in a while, and our buddy Ryan Beard made a video about it. It's called Anti-Woke Idiot Hates Race Mixing in The Last of Us. I'm surprised we're still doing this whole race mixing thing. So let's watch. I mean, we've been watching Ryan Beard's videos. He's been dissecting people pretty well. Destiny. What is that other guy's name? He used to be a cat in Minecraft. I don't remember. So let's watch this now, man. Let's do it. Spoiler warning. The Last of Us Part 2 and Game of Thrones Season 1. Spoiler warning from Game of Thrones Season 1. Let me also explain something to you. Weird Al Yankovic did a spoiler for The Last of Us Season 2. Wild. On his TikTok. He played some random TikTok clip, and then boom, it just gave a spoiler. So it was actually very funny. I'm not kidding.
Hey, so I know this might get me skinned alive by certain gamers out there.
B, Naughty Dog. Make The Last of Us Part 2, which sold half of what Part 1 sells because people were sick of the girl boss agenda. Or maybe it's because they knew... Listen, I already know part of it, so just tune out right now if you want to know, don't want to know the story. But Joel dies in number 2. I'm a man. I never played Last of Us Part 1. But I could understand, like, when you're not playing the character that you identify with, that it might not be as interesting. But sometimes you kind of have to move the story forward. And so as long as it was done poetically, which is my understanding, it is what it is. Listen, you want to know what? I decided to play God of War 2018, hardest difficulty, New Game Plus, because we already beat the new game on the hardest difficulty, regular game on the hardest difficulty, and we beat the Valkyrie Queen on it. The reason we're doing this is because Synthetic Man is not because I love this game. It's nothing. I don't even like this game. Synthetic Man is not a gamer. He says he complains about games and all this shit. He couldn't even beat God of War on like normal mode. He sucks. He's boring. He's not a gamer. He's a loser. Oh, I'm a big gamer. Oh, why is there all this woke shit? You can't even play the game. You can't even play the game, dude. You suck. What are you doing complaining about it? You're not even good at video games. So we're gonna get a double dunk here.
But I consider myself a fan of The Last of Us Part
I gotta
2
play it.
video game.
I gotta play it eventually.
I know. Of course, soy boy Ryan Beard liked The Last of Us Part 2. What's next? He also liked The Last Jedi.
That was not a good movie.
It was okay. I don't think The
Fuck you, Ryan.
Last of Us Part 2 was a perfect video game by any means.
They shifted the character. They did what they could do with the fucking guy, and then they decided to shift it to the girl. He was always... Like, poetically, he was always the mentor role character. Like, just to be clear, that was always his existence, and I love that character. He is the Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's the character that he is. Right? Like, he's the Kratos. And just like, you know, if they made a game that centered around Atreus, it's going to have less people watching. It needs to happen, because we've exhausted everything with this character. And sometimes it's better to end the character's legacy on a good note than to beat it into the ground. Why not?
I think it dragged in certain points. Some parts
Dragging
felt a bit
balls.
unfocused, and I think they crammed too many characters into the game. But overall, I thought the story was really interesting. I thought the graphics and the performances were great. I thought that
Are there any like lesbian kissing scenes with hardcore? How old is the main character actually?
The gameplay was fun, and I just liked that the game wasn't afraid to take risks. I would say that
That's
most
fair. I could always respect that too. Sometimes they make a risk and maybe it just doesn't pay off.
sequels to video games play it pretty safe, so I just appreciated that the game wasn't afraid to take risks. I'm usually
That's
someone
fair.
who likes when stories take big risks. I like the killing of Ned Stark and the Red Wedding in Game of Thrones, and
I did not like the killing of Jimmy in Boardwalk Empire. I think that maybe that was a bit of a miss. Sorry if I ruined the story for you.
And I like that they killed off Joel in The Last of Us Part 2. I'm sure I would have also enjoyed a sequel.
Oh, spoiler alert for Boardwalk Empire.
That played it safe and didn't kill off Joel, and I agree that one of the best things about the original game was the relationship between Joel and Ellie, but in a world that's supposed to be as brutal and unforgiving as The Last of Us, I thought it made sense to kill off Joel. Now, taking big
saying this a lot.
Story risks isn't always a good thing. It was a big risk to bring back Palpatine in Star Wars Episode 9.
I think it was a big risk to make Episode 7 decent. It was decent, and then kill off like every meaningful storyline in Episode 8. That was probably the biggest risk. It's like, I think 7 could have ended better. Like, you know, I wish Kylo Ren actually beat Rey because he was super trained. It would have made his character more ominous because he was the main villain. No, he wasn't. It was actually Snoke or something. Dude, Darth Vader was the main villain. Just because the Emperor existed in the original ones doesn't mean that Darth Vader wasn't the main villain, okay? I don't know. But, yeah.
But it was also dumb as hell. I think in order for a big risk to pay off, it has to make sense within the context of the story.
True.
In Game of Thrones, Ned Stark chose to stick to his morals and be merciful towards the Lannisters, even though the Lannisters are heartless dickheads. And because they're heartless dickheads, it made sense that this came back to bite him in the ass, which ended up getting him killed. And
actually, what happened? Wait, didn't he compromise on his values? What actually happened is he did compromise on his values to try to protect his family for like one time, and Joffrey was an insane psychopath that decided to still kill him. That was actually what happened. But still, it made sense story-wise. Like, it was good. It was poetic. It was a great, beginning to it. The newer seasons, terrible. They have to redo those. They're fucking dog shit trash, bud.
And in The Last of Us, Joel chose to stick to his morals and rescue Ellie, even though he had to kill a bunch of people in the process.
Crazy.
And it made sense to me that the relatives of the people he killed would want revenge for this, so it made sense to me that he ended up getting killed.
Wasn't the story that, like, that he saved her, even though like her dying could have saved a ton of people? Wasn't that like the story?
Definitely think there are some critiques that you can make of the story, like
debate God of War with Mr. Beard now, dude. Listen, God of War 3 sucks.
Joel being too quick to be trusting towards Abby, which felt like it was out of character for him. But I have just never understood this argument that killing off Joel must mean that the creators of the game hate the fans. And I have also never understood why this game became such a big culture war debate. If you like
because it's a girl. It's pretty much it. People are fucking lazy and it's boring.
The Last of Us Part 2, then you must hate men or hate straight people or think that all women should be buff as hell. And now,
I mean, some women should, dude. That's not bad. Sometimes you have like a different, sometimes you're feeling a vibe, Sometimes you're trying to catch a vibe and you're like, damn, let me get some buff bitches.
now with season 2 of The Last of Us TV show coming out, I'm seeing a lot of this old discourse start to bubble up to the surface on the internet again. A lot of anti-woke YouTubers assumed that everyone would hate season 2 of The Last of Us TV show in the same way that they hated the game, but so far it's been getting really good reviews on...
I wouldn't doubt it. I personally, it was tough for me to tune in again. I don't know. I just like, it wasn't really like, I've been on a Righteous Gemstones kick. That show's killing me. It's funny as hell.
IMDb. As of recording this video, the second episode of the show where they kill off Joel has a 9.4 rating on IMDb, which to me shows that these dudes who absolutely hate the second game with a burning passion are actually a lot more in the minority than they think they are.
Well, yeah, it's because like in the video game world, like it's a little more male dominated, and so is The Last of Us. And I can understand young men looking at the Joel character, especially since they probably grew up without a dad, and they're like, I really like this character for different reasons. And they killed him off, and I have less like identification with the game. I totally get that. But people in the real, like when you expand the audience, it changes because there's more people, and they're like, oh, like maybe I'm a girl, and maybe I like this person, and maybe like oh, that's cool. We're going to center Ellie now, and that's pretty. Everybody just wants to identify with characters, and so I get it when your identifiable character gets like, they disappear. But sometimes it just needs to happen, man.
Again, I am not saying that I expect everyone to like The Last of Us Part 2. I thought Nakey Jakey...
Yeah, I wish that people could just be like, hey, this is not for me. Like, you're allowed to say, like, hey, maybe this piece of media is just not for me. Like, it doesn't have to be crazy.
Put up a lot of good criticisms in his video that he made about the game. But I do think it's dumb to criticize the game because you think that the creators hate the fans because...
But then again, like the same people who hated The Last of Us Part 2 because they centered a girl are the same people who thought that God of War 3 storyline was good. It wasn't. The new God of War games are superior. I used to play the old ones. I loved them. I beat off to them. Not the Kratos part, the part where you would do girls. Okay. The new games are better storyline-wise. Okay, but you guys don't know that because you're stupid. Okay, and you're the same people who say that, oh, you don't like girls in video games. You suck. All right. Also, make Atreus the main character for the next game, but make him older and less cringe.
They kill Joel, or you think the game is
sorry guys, it's a fact. Stop debating it.
disgusting because there's a trans person in it, or Abby is too muscular, or the game promotes race mixing. And moving forward, I just hope that the
How does a trans person in The Last of Us, like, do they have modern medicine in there? How the fuck do they get their stuff? Well, you know, I don't know what kind of trans they are.
discourse around this game and this TV show can start to be a little bit more, I don't know, normal. Anyway, today we're going to be taking a look at a few videos about The Last of Us TV show from the anti-woke YouTuber Synthetic Man. I've been wanting to make a video about this dude for a while. I
love that you did, Ryan. I've been looking for an excuse to talk about this guy. I find it so weird that the people who are anti-woke the most are like the most beta cringe looking people. Like Synthetic Man, Andy Pants Gaming, Asmongold. But then you look at this and then you got Papa Gut. And it's like, dude, I'm not anti-woke because I can get bitches, dude. They might be able to run, but they can't outpower me. I'm kidding. That's terrible. But it's like weird. It's almost like these anti-woke guys are so desperate to like for somebody to like them. It's like they look at the buff guys, and like in my experience, the buff dudes at the gym or the strong guys at the gym are like the nicest people because they're just looking for people to like talk to because I think they all have like a super special interest in like weightlifting and they would love to info dump. You know, they're like the most friendly people, and they desperately want to get their attention. And instead of being like, hey man, like what do you do at the gym so I can start going? And like they're like, I fucking hate women because they associate like people that are working out with people who hate women. So it's just like, why are you guys trying to be pick-me's? Just go to the fucking gym. Stop being so gay, you know? Like, just be cool. Go work on yourself instead of trying to bring everyone down to your level. Oh, I hated this video game. There's so many gay characters. Did you ever think it's not made for you? Like, you entitled little fucking cuck? There's plenty of games that aren't for me. I just don't play them. I don't need to like shit my pants about it. It's not that fucking deep. Like, Jesus.
I think that Synthetic Man is one of the absolute funniest anti-woke YouTubers to dunk on. He got absolutely roasted by most people on the internet because he said that the Fallout TV show was woke because it promoted race mixing. And now
Fallout TV show was great. I even liked the way that they implemented like a trans character. It wasn't central to their identity. It's like they just had a trans character and they were a good character and they were a good acting person. I don't know. And they didn't make a big deal out of it. Like, I thought it was like really well. I like the way that they added inclusivity into the game. It wasn't obnoxious. It was just like, hey, we're going to put good actors that happen to be, you know, whatever identity. I'm like, okay, cool. That's all I want. I want you, if you're going to do inclusivity, just make sure the actor's good. I don't give a fuck.
Now guess what he's doing? He's saying that The Last of Us TV show is also too woke because it promotes race mixing. In a post-apocalyptic world that is overrun with zombies, the most important thing isn't trying to find a...
Let's be absolutely real, though. Let's be absolutely real. It would make sense that there would be more black people in the post-apocalyptic world. Okay? Because all I'm going to say is I cannot run fast enough to get away. All right? That's it. It makes perfect sense. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Cure or trying to find ways to survive. No, the most important thing is making sure that white and black people do not have babies together. Anyway, I think that's enough preamble. Let's get into the reaction.
It's finally here, the adaptation of the most subversive video game sequel in history,
Whoa.
The Last of Us Season 2.
Whoa, kissing girls, boner. Sorry.
Simultaneously both been dreading this and looking forward to it. Dreading it because I knew it meant I would finally have to finish The Last of Us Part 2, and I did recently on stream, and it was truly as painful as I knew it would.
Did you actually play it like did you actually play it on a difficult setting, or did you play it on like easy mode and go like, guys, this game is so hard. I hate that you can't jump in the new God of War games.
I hate that you can't jump in the new God of War games. It's so stupid. Why can't you jump in video? Why can't you jump? It ruins the entire game.
Would be.
I remember back in the day, the game was so much better when you had to do high combos to generate orbs, because that was so fun to have to do low damaging attacks to generate as many orbs as possible. Like, that's so much fun to have to meticulously play a certain playstyle. That's fucking boring. Hey guys, I like the old system because I fucking rose-colored glasses, buddy.
The Last of Us 2 is truly
Rose-colored glasses. That's a good point. The average gay man is better shape and looks more masculine than 90% of these anti-woke people. Well, the reason is, here's the thing. You guys ever hear of a gay incel? No. Why is that? Because gay dudes love to fuck. Dudes love to fuck, gay or straight. Fuck a guy. Fuck a guy, synthetic man. Have a guy put it in your butt, you probably like it anyway. That's all you gotta do. Because dudes listen, if I was gay, I would be tearing shit up. I'm not picky at all. I've been with some goddamn dogs. I'm a fucking werewolf. I'm telling you. And so it's a lot easier to get fucking, to tap that shit. Because dudes be crazy. And gay dudes are their dudes. They just happen to be gay too. So these incels, all they need to do is just go to a gay club and they'll get absolutely blasted. And you might be like, well, how? That's not true. That's not true. They won't, because these guys smell. They obviously don't shower. But it's like some of these guys, they're into some weird shit. Some of them will fuck you even if you don't shower. They might even be into it. So, gay incels, fuck a dude or get fucked by a dude. Something. I mean, you know what I mean? Fuck it. Fuck it. That's all I'm saying.
a product born of spite, of hatred of the audience, of all of the fans who loved Joel.
Every time they change something in something, I am the victim of it. Oh, they got rid of this character? They hate me.
Nobody's thinking about you, bud. Okay, they're just moving the story forward. That's it.
From the first game.
So as you can see, he agrees with the typical talking point that the second game absolutely hated anyone who loves Joel as a character. I'm someone who loves Joel as a character, but I never felt like the game hated me. Did Game of Thrones...
Well, no, it's because you don't have a victim complex.
Hate everyone who loved Ned Stark because they killed him off?
And I'm not just...
Yes. Ned Stark, best character in the whole show. My second favorite? Robert Baratheon.
Talking about him dying near the beginning. There's a lot of elements of that game, especially how Ellie treats Joel in the flashbacks, that makes it clear that Druckmann despises all of the people who would dare save their surrogate daughter instead of save what's left of human civilization.
You think Neil Druckmann, the creator of the game, despises anyone who would save their surrogate daughter instead of saving humanity. Yet, literally a month ago, in an interview, Neil Druckmann said, "If I were in Joel's position, I hope I would be able to do what he did."
Damn. If I was in his position, I would hope that I could do the opposite of save humanity. Maybe that's callous, but I feel like I hate to say this. I feel like Joel did the weaker position. Joel did the easier thing. You know, if it was guaranteed to save humanity, I mean, I think I don't know. I'm just saying, that's all I'm saying. Dude. I'm not trying to be a fucking rude. I just feel like it is actually weak to save her.
How can he hate everyone who agrees with Joel's decision while he also agrees with Joel's decision? Are you saying that you think he hates himself? Joel
well, Synthetic Man does, so.
is supposed to be seen as a morally complex character. Ellie being rude to Joel doesn't prove that Joel made the wrong decision. Ellie is also a morally complex character. And
isn't she just like getting older? Isn't that the whole point? Like she's going through like a teenage crisis or some bullshit? Like
you're not necessarily supposed to agree with every decision.
Ellie should have had a say. I mean, you could argue that like she should have been able to have like been complicit or like had been able to make the decision. That might be fair, but from their perspective, it's like, why take the risk? Let's just get her done,
And that Ellie makes. Ellie definitely makes a lot of questionable decisions later on in the game, and you as an audience member are not necessarily supposed to agree with every decision that she makes. I think it makes sense from Ellie's perspective that she's mad at Joel because he lied to her and he potentially took away her chance to save humanity. And I think
is that part of it? She found out and she got upset because she wishes she could have saved humanity.
It makes sense from Joel's perspective that he would be frustrated with Ellie because he doesn't think she should be mad at him for choosing to save her life. Having two conflicting...
I mean, that makes perfect sense if that's the story, so I don't understand what his fucking problem is then.
characters where you
It
can
wasn't guaranteed. That's the fun of the situation.
understand both of their motivations while not necessarily fully agreeing with either of them makes for interesting storytelling.
Yeah, it makes it more complex than good guy, bad guy. That's like the whole point. That's the direction that a lot of modern media has moved to. And I wonder if Synthetic Man can't handle that. I wonder if he's the kind of guy that needs like your old school Hercules movies that just tell you this is good, this is bad, and there's no actual complexity in the middle of it. That unironically might be one of the problem with these anti-woke YouTubers because they're so stupid they don't really understand how to consume complex media. Wouldn't doubt it.
Just do not understand how you can play this game and think that Ellie being rude to Joel means that you as the player should disagree with Joel. This is just such an overly simplistic way to view complex characters.
Now, I'm not going to go over that again. I think I covered my opinions pretty thoroughly back when I reviewed the first season. But obviously I sided with Joel, and I really despised how the show removed a lot of the ambiguity as to whether or not a cure would even be made by killing Ellie. But still, now we have the aftermath, The Last of Us Part 2. And even though it released 5 years ago now, it still feels like it was yesterday when it was leaked that Joel gets killed in the beginning of the game, and thankfully, the majority of people decided not to buy The Last of Us Part 2. Now, of course, there was a lot of...
Did he decide to just not buy it, and he just bought it now, like 5 years later? Okay.
misinformation saying that no, supposedly the game sold extremely well, even though the game sold 4 million copies in its first month, which seems
That sounds like a lot, no?
like a lot.
Yes.
But then 2 years later, it had only sold 10 million compared to the first game's 30 million. And
Okay, so it was successful, but it was the second game, so it just wasn't as successful. You think that there's a world where it would have been as successful? I don't know. Maybe not.
no doubt the budget for the second game was much higher.
Yeah, the second game wasn't as popular as the first game, but I don't think popularity necessarily equals quality. Like, The Force Awakens is one of the highest grossing movies of all time, but I don't think that that means that movie is great. And again, I prefer something like The Last of Us Part 2 that isn't afraid to be super different than the first game, as opposed to something like The Force Awakens, which felt like it was just a rehash of the plot of Episode 4. In the fourth movie, we blew up the Death Star, but now in the seventh movie, we're gonna blow up an even bigger Death Star.
How the hell did they even get the infrastructure for a larger Death Star? That's my fucking question, you know? Like, how do you do it?
And I also appreciate TV shows like Game of Thrones or The Last of Us that kill off main characters and have them actually stay dead, compared to properties like Marvel, where whenever a main character dies, you can be safe to
That's just like very video. That's very comic book. Everybody dies and they come back to life, you know?
assume they're gonna come back to life at some point through use of the multiverse or
But it does obviously have the negative impact of like making every death like more trivial because you're like, oh, they could just come back. Yeah, that makes sense.
whatever. Again, I just generally prefer HBO shows that aren't afraid to take risks compared to whatever Disney is putting out these days where they're recycling the same plot over and over and over and over again. I'm not saying this dude Synthetic Man loves Disney or anything, he probably doesn't, but dudes like him who
Seems like the kind of guy that maybe really liked like a female character from Disney got bullied over it, and so it made him anti-woke, sure.
freak the fuck out and review bomb any TV show or movie that does decide to take risks is one of the reasons why Disney chooses to play it so safe and never take risks.
And knowing all of this, and also
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. If like the audience will get disappointed if they make a risk, they're going to be like, you know, let's not make any fucking risks then.
knowing the
Oh,
fact
sure.
that Neil Druckmann is directly working on the TV show as he did with season 1, I knew that people are going to definitely end up hating season 2 unless they make drastic changes to the story. And just based on episode 1, it doesn't really seem like they changed much, except a lot of the out-of-order flashbacks that appear later in the game are now in the very first episode. Like the famous dance scene, you know, the one where Dina asks if she smells bad? Oh yeah,
Whoa. Some people like a little stink, you know what I'm saying?
that line's still in the show 1-to-1. So clearly Druckmann hasn't learned anything. He still thinks it's hot for two lesbians to smell each other's odor.
What?
I mean, is it a fetish thing or is it more of just an insecurity thing? Because, you know, maybe the person's like, oh man, do I smell? I don't, but okay. Maybe it's a sex thing. Okay.
You're saying that you don't think it's hot for lesbians to smell each other's odor? You're acting like you...
That is true. I'm a fucking degenerate, so I'm down for a little fucking. I'm down for something weird like that. I don't give a fuck. Most men are. Most men are down. They love smells. They love pheromones. Men are primal animals. We love smells. If you don't like smells, and I'm not saying bad smells, by the way. I'm just saying smells. If you're not a guy that likes smells, you're not a fucking primal alpha male, okay? That's the problem. Synthetic man, you can't be a primal alpha male if you're not fucking into smells. What's wrong with you, dude? What the fuck's the matter with you?
You don't have a lesbian fart fetish. Come
Oh,
on.
you don't have to have a fart fetish, okay? You're allowed to. Okay? Most people would consider it normal. Okay? Just to be clear. That's what I heard. From somebody said that, I think. Somebody made that. I'm pretty sure someone might have said that, okay? Don't worry about it.
God, it's 2025. These days, everyone's got a lesbian fart fetish. This line in the game where Dina asks Ellie to smell her is not supposed to be hot. It's supposed to be sarcastic banter. Sometimes when you're flirting with someone, you make like a sarcastic comment because you're negging them.
Oh, she's autistic. I got it. So why doesn't Synthetic Man identify with this character? What the fuck?
On. Have you never made a sarcastic joke when flirting with a woman?
Never in my life.
I mean, I'm gonna guess that
I actually tried to go on a date with an autistic girl, and all I do is make sarcastic jokes, and it just didn't go well. God bless her. Hope she's doing well. But I think she needs a more literal person to be with.
flirting with women is probably not this dude's strong suit, so maybe that's why he doesn't understand sarcastic banter.
True.
Especially when one is hideously ugly. You know, I'm
Why are people so mean about Bella Ramsey? It's so strange. First of all, she's a cute girl. Like, she's a cute girl. She's a nice-looking, attractive girl. I'm a grown man. The guy who just said that is a grown man. He looks like a little boy. Grown man. I'm 35. That dude's like 30, like young 30s. How old is Bella Ramsey? She's 21. You don't need to be attracted to her, you fucking freak. That's number one. Number two, she's a good actress. She was great in Game of Thrones, and she was great in this show. Why do you guys have to be so weird? Why do you have to want to fuck everybody? And, like, what are you doing? And, like, did you have this take in this first season when she was supposed to be, like, 14? Why are you guys so concerned with how attractive children are? I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, what is happening here? I find it so strange. You guys are weirdos. You guys are like weird, like degenerate freaks. She's a nice looking young lady. Okay? Young person, whatever. I don't care. I think that they might be a non-binary or something. Fine, whatever. They're a nice looking young person. It's not that big of a deal. It's not like they fucking shaved their eyebrows and had a goddamn Twitter crash out. Insert picture of Frogan. I'm not even going to find it. Fuck it. You guys just got to stop making these comments. It's just like very inappropriate. It's weird. You guys are creeps.
So we'll address that before we get started.
Let's
There
address
are a
that.
lot of
I had so much trouble jerking off to her. Oh, it was so fucking ridiculous. I couldn't even jack my penis off to this character. I couldn't even look up Rule 34 Last of Us Part 2 and jack my dick off. It was fucking fucked up, dude.
morons, a lot of tourists
Fuck.
who watched my season 1 reviews and didn't know that Bella Ramsey was an adult. Yes, she was 19 years old.
Not concerned with her being... I'm going to be honest with you. Not concerned with it. Wasn't even really thinking about it. You know? I mean, if your take is you don't think that she looked mature enough, maybe you got something there. But I wasn't particularly concerned with it. Going to be absolutely fucking keeping it 100 with you.
When season 1 released, and so obviously she's even older now. And no, I don't give a shit if you think I'm a bad person for calling her ugly. We
I
all
don't think
know
you're a bad person. I think you're just like a weirdo.
she's ugly. It's incredibly distracting, and it really just takes you out of the show.
Bro, have you seen yourself? You look like Bella Ramsey's uglier older brother.
No, he doesn't. He looks like Bella Ramsey's uglier older sister or something. What are you talking about? Calling this guy a man is not. It's just a little bit. And by the way, I'm not saying women are bad, but a synthetic man thinks women are bad, right? You have to understand that.
At least in The Last of Us, they have an excuse to not shower very often because they're living through an apocalypse. What is your excuse, bro? You're not just throwing a brick in a glass
He's living through a goon apocalypse over here.
house right now. You're fucking shooting a bazooka in one. You think that people are going to be too distracted watching The Last of Us because Bella Ramsey is too ugly in your perspective, yet no one's going to be distracted watching your YouTube videos having to look at your face? And look, I am also not super attractive, and I would expect people to point that
Ryan does look like Bella Ramsey. Let's be real. I'm not even insulting you. Okay, stop. Shut up. All right.
that out if I started going around complaining that TV shows are distracting because the characters are too ugly. I guess Bella Ramsey is a bit less conventionally attractive than Ellie from the game,
Who
but
cares, dude? Don't even like give this any fucking. Don't even give this any credibility. Oh, I guess she's a little fuck. Who gives a fuck? She's a good actress, and who gives a shit?
I just don't really care.
Exactly. All right.
I actually thought it added to this episode that Bella Ramsey looked so shy and awkward in the dance scene because it made sense that she would be feeling self-conscious about someone like Dina being attracted to her.
I mean, if anything, maybe she should be taller. I don't know.
I don't want to harp on this too much, but are we really expected to believe that a cute girl like Dina is into this disgusting goblin butch lesbian? I mean,
again, chill out with the insulting, especially when you look like that. That's number one. Number two, dude, have you ever seen lesbians before? I've seen the most butch lesbians. There's this one butch lesbian on TikTok. She works at like Mint Mobile. She's got hair like fucking Justin Bieber, and she's super masculine. And all the comments are full of like conventionally attractive girls, like, "Oh, mama." Like, what are you talking about? This is like, what are you talking about, dude? What? Like, have you ever lived in the world? What is wrong with you? I don't know, man. I feel like some people are too comfortable criticizing other people's looks, especially when they're as ugly as Synthetic Man. It's just like so strange.
really?
Contrary to what you might think, in the real world, sometimes people actually do date other people that are out of their league.
Bro, she's not even out of her league. She's not even out of her league. Lesbians operate in a different wavelength, dude. Lesbians operate on a different wavelength.
For example, me and my girlfriend, or you and if a woman ever dated you.
Damn.
And to address another thing that I know is going to come up, as plenty of people told me I'm racist for pointing it out in my Season 1 review and my Fallout TV show review. Yes, blackwashing and miscegenation are absolutely woke. If it's
Black? What did they make this minor character black? Was she even relevant? Did she just die?
being shoved into every goddamn TV commercial and movie, despite
Who the fuck watches commercials anymore? Oh my god. This dude, not only is this dude racist, he can't even afford Netflix, dude. He can't even afford HBO. I don't even watch commercials. I've transcended beyond commercials. I don't give a fuck. You're still watching commercials? Poor person. What do you live in your fucking grandma's house? The hell's the matter with you? The fuck that's the only person who has cable anymore. But my mother's canceled her cable. My mother's an old woman. What the hell are you talking about? Oh, commercials. They're shoving it in my face. Commercials? Commercials? What the fuck is a commercial? Commercials are the same thing as when people do this when they're like, "Hello, how are you?" Like, you know how they do like them, because kids do this now. Out of season, dude. Commercials are so when I was a baby. Get the fuck out of here.
being a relatively rare phenomenon in real life, you don't think that's propaganda? Can you not think of a single reason why maybe that's being shoved in your face?
What do you think? Why? What is you? Oh, wait, hold on. I already know why he thinks it. It's because the Jews are trying to make us race mix. By the way, that is the real conspiracy theory that this freak probably believes in.
If you don't understand how that could possibly be part of the message, I don't think you even know what the message is in the first place.
What's the message?
Oh no, the message. I can't escape from the message. All these TV shows are manipulating me into having mixed race babies so I can destroy the white race. Bro's really
That's pretty much what it is. Not that it's like, you know what, if you're gonna at least be one of those like master race people, you have to at least look like it. Like, you can't look like Synthetic Man and be like, I'm the we're the alpha race. Like, dude, what are you talking about? Look at you. If white people were the alpha race, and there is no alpha race, but if they were, Synthetic Man would have been one of the babies we would have let to die. I'm not trying to be rude, okay? But dude, look at you. I mean, give me a fucking break. Give me a break, bro. What are you talking? It doesn't even make sense. It's always the cringiest looking dudes that talk about like master races and shit. It's so weird.
Here complaining about miscegenation in 2025 like he's some sort of 1800s plantation owner.
Damn, he looks like one.
So, Synthetic Man's perspective is that part of the message is that Jews in Hollywood are trying to get white people to sleep with black people.
That is the message. Ryan's woke as hell. He knows that's the fucking insane message.
To weaken the white race. These Jews want to create a mongrel race that is half white, half black, because this will make it easier for Jews to take over. And the proof of this...
I don't even know how that makes any sense. It's so funny because they think that Jews control everything. And they're like, the Jews are just trying to take over. It's like, well, you said they already control everything. So what do you mean they're trying to? I mean, the Jews don't control anything. I'm just saying. Like, what?
This is that there are so many interracial couples in TV shows and movies. And I'm not speculating about this or making some sort of false accusations against Synthetic Man. Here is a clip of him directly saying it.
Let's say, hypothetically, you were trying to create a race of mongrel slave people with double-digit IQs. While you believe you're the best ever, you're God's chosen people, right? You need to encourage the creation of the mongrel slave race. So what do? Okay, well, one, the
mongrel slave race. I can't believe someone who looks like that just said something like that so confidently. That's crazy.
To show as many interracial couples as possible in media. Every single commercial, every single TV show. That's one thing.
So,
That's crazy. It's crazy. The craziest part is it's coming from somebody who looks like that. That is the craziest part about this entire thing. Somebody who looks like that just said that. That's fucking preposterous work. That's preposterous amounts of work. You saw that way that guy looks? He said that.
I highly doubt that Jewish people are actually trying to weaken the white race by having white people have kids with black people. First of all, I don't think that people having mixed race...
First of all, let me be absolutely real with you. The most race mixing I've ever seen is between Jews. For whatever reason, you guys have seen this Sopranos. Hesh exclusively like that chocolate. All right, Jews love black women. You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? You know what I mean? Maybe it reminds them of their grandparents. I don't know. I don't know if you know this, but my grandparents, I'm ethnically Jewish. My grandparents have dark skin too. At least they did after that one event. So like maybe that's part of it. I don't really know. I don't know.
Race kids would even make it easier for Jews to take over, even if that was their goal. And I have also never even seen any indication that Jewish people are trying to take over America. A lot of Zionists are trying to take over Palestine, and they lobby the US government to get them to support this, but obviously not all
obviously, Synthetic Man does not care about that. Let's just be real. I think let's be fucking absolutely clear.
Jews are Zionists. Generally, it's Christians who are trying to take over America, which is why you see such a big movement
Trying to take it back, dude.
towards Christian nationalism these days. Maybe I shouldn't even be engaging with these insane anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, but unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there like Synthetic Man who do believe this shit, so we do have to engage with it. But no, I do not think there's a lot of mixed race couples in TV shows because Jews are trying to weaken the white race. You want to know the real reason that mixed race couples are overrepresented in TV shows and movies? Money. Studios think it's more marketable to show mixed race couples.
Well, but Ryan, that's going to make him feel like he's right because he thinks because one of the biggest anti-Semitic tropes is that Jewish people they love money, right? Like that's going to be one of his conspiracy theories. So
than single race couples, because when you have a mixed race couple, you can market to both white and black people simultaneously, for example. But if you show a couple that is only one race, that's only one racial demographic that you can market to. 99 times out of 100, if you're wondering why Hollywood is doing a certain thing, the answer is going to be money. And you know what?
Ryan, this isn't going to make him change his mind, just so you know. All right, this is going to make him feel more empowered in his fucking perspective.
Agree that we shouldn't only show mixed race couples in TV shows and movies. FD Signifier talks about this in his video Why Everyone is Wrong About Interracial Dating, where he brings up the point that if you only show mixed race couples in TV shows and movies, then black people don't get to see representations of black relationships.
True.
And in the same way, as a white guy, I think it's about time that we see a white relationship in a movie. Hollywood's been going for 100 years and not once have we seen a white relationship in a movie. So I am here to take a stand and
just watch Tyler Perry, guys. You're all good.
It is finally time to normalize white relationships in movies. So, what is my perspective on this as a whole? I guess some movies and TV shows should have mixed race couples, and some movies and TV shows should have single race couples, but what matters the most is not the race of the couple, but how it contributes to the story in an interesting way.
Sure. I mean, again, like if you're a white person, you might want to see more white people because like you feel more identified. That's fine. You don't have to cry about it if you don't see it. Just don't watch the fucking media, you know?
Hopefully this shouldn't be a hot take to anyone who is normal. One other thing that I find interesting that I wanted to bring up really quick is that dudes like this will always argue that violence in video games does not contribute to young men becoming more violent. Yet at the same time, these dudes think that showing mixed race couples in movies or TV shows is gonna manipulate everyone into only wanting to have mixed race children. I don't know.
That's actually kind of a good point. Yeah, if you don't think that violence is gonna like be upstarted by it, then why the fuck do you think that like the mixed race? Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I've never even considered that before.
Oh, I think that violence in video games probably doesn't influence people to be that much more violent, and
it might actually just get it out, you know, get that negative energy out, if anything.
Showing mixed race couples in TV shows and movies probably doesn't influence people to want to have more mixed race children that much.
And another thing you need to remember about these people is that apparently watching two middle-aged men have gay sex is not woke as well, apparently.
It's not woke. Gay men are so yesteryear, you know what I'm saying, dude? Gay men are so yesterday. We've seen plenty of gay men, you know what I mean?
Everyone seemed to love episode 3 of The Last of Us season 1.
Dude,
yeah.
Fuck, I mean, that was a good relationship. They had a really good, like, loving dynamic. I liked it a lot.
Yes, gay men having sex is not woke. Gay men having sex is actually anti-woke, because think about it. Which group of people is the most woke? Women. And when gay men have sex, there's no women involved.
True.
So I would argue that the most anti-woke society possible is one where every man is gay. Now, let's kiss.
But anyway, enough preamble. Dude. Let's get into episode...
Enough preamble? Oh, man, we got the Ryan Beard special on the old preamble. Isn't that crazy?
1 of The Last of Us Season 2. So it actually begins with a new scene unique to the show where we get to see the survivors of Joel slaughtering all of the fireflies, and we get to meet the actress who plays Abby. And I'm not going to make a judgment based on her appearance just yet, even though I've already seen pictures of later episodes, and no, she never looks nearly as jacked as Abby. And
oh no, what is Abby, fucking trans? What the hell? That's a jacked individual.
We all know the reason why. It's because the actress wasn't willing to take steroids to get arms as large as Abby's. Sorry, ladies, I don't care.
Well, I think that like any woman would have to take steroids for that. Sure. Okay. Whatever.
How much chicken, broccoli, and rice you eat, you're never going to get arms like that without anabolics.
Okay. This guy aware that most bodybuilders are on fucking anabolics. I understand he's trying to take a jab at women for like not being as strong as men, but like, okay, it seems unnecessary and like obsessive.
Morons who've never touched a dumbbell seem to believe that women have
what
just as much muscle building potential as men. It's not even close, guys.
That's insane. Hold on. What did you say? This is what this guy looks like, by the way. This is him right here. This guy, morons who haven't touched a dumbbell. That's incredible work, dude. That's wild as fuck. Incredible. Beautiful.
Guys.
Who exactly said that men and women have equal muscle building potential? Obviously,
you just gotta slip that in there.
Oh yeah, women, they're not as strong as dudes. We got them.
On average, men are going to be able to build muscle way more easily than women can. And yeah, it's possible that Abby in The Last of Us Part 2 took steroids. If the Fireflies are able to synthesize a vaccine, then why wouldn't they also be able to synthesize steroids?
Could they synthesize my balls?
The reason they had Abby get so buff in the game is because they wanted to show the lengths that she was willing to go to in her obsession with wanting to kill Joel. Obsession is one of the main themes in the game, and
well, yeah, so maybe they should have got a more muscular woman, you know, to that could be a good criticism if the actress isn't encompassing that. Okay, so I'm getting a word from somebody. Thank you for that Synthetic Man apparently said that he wants to get railed by Abby because she's buff. Excuse me. Incredible.
I do think that obsession could lead her to wanting to take steroids. It's just very weird to me when all these people are like, it's so unrealistic that Abby could be this muscular when there obviously are women that are this muscular in real life. And in the game, they make sure to show the gym that she's been working out in, and I do think it's possible that she's also taking steroids. I don't know, I've just always felt like the Abby is too muscular criticism is very weak.
So yes, unfortunately,
well, it sounds like he was criticizing that the new Abby isn't muscular enough, but like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense to be muscular. Like, that's cool, especially if that's the storyline. That makes sense to me.
Abby is not the muscle monster that we all know from The Last of Us 2, which, you know what, if you're not someone who watches any of my streams, maybe you'd think I'd say that's a good thing, but I kind of ironically enjoy how gross Abby looks in the game because it kind of just represents the overall ugliness of The Last of Us 2.
You do realize that showing the ugliness of humanity.
Didn't this guy say he wanted to get railed by Abby? What is he talking about? What?
Humanity is one of the points of the game, right? Abby is obsessed with building muscle, probably to an unhealthy degree, and later in the game we see that Ellie has lost weight to an unhealthy degree because her obsession with Abby has caused her to stop eating. One of the points of the game is to show the ways that obsession can lead you to changing your body in unhealthy ways.
The fact that the actress is actually more attractive than Abby kind of just takes away from it. Especially, I think she's the only casting in this show that's more attractive than the game version.
So you're mad that Abby is too attractive in your perspective, but you're also mad that Ellie is too ugly in your perspective. Kind of seems to me like you're just finding shit to complain about.
That makes sense.
I don't know, I just don't think that how ugly or not ugly the actors are in this show really has anything to do with the overall quality of the show itself.
Now, again, if you don't know my opinion of The Last of Us 2, by the
I mean, if anything, they should have made her more muscular. It sounds like one of the core criticisms should have been that she should have been more muscular to encompass that obsession of that character.
end of the game, I actually sided
unless maybe they go into like a new direction that like works out really well
with Abby over Ellie, because Ellie becomes such a fucking bitch in the game, and she does the same in the show. We'll get into that later, because she just fucking despises Joel for making the correct decision, you know, save her life instead of sacrifice her for a arguably useless cure. Again, not going to get into the same argument.
Why would the cure be useless? I mean, if you want to say that it has a low chance of working, that's one thing. Why would the cure be worthless or useless?
Arguments I made back in season 1, but I still feel the same. Ellie is such a goddamn bitch. You end up hating her by the end of the last one.
What makes the cure useless? I don't understand. Like, what am I not aware of? Is this a good point? Was the cure like? Is it a bad cure? Does it not do the right thing? What is he talking about?
Too, trust me.
Yes, that is one of the points of the game. You are not supposed to agree with every single choice that Ellie makes because her obsession leads her to making irrational choices. I think it makes sense that she's mad at Joel because Joel did lie to her, and I also think it makes sense that her obsession—
How many hours we haven't got a war, bro? I don't even know. I have no idea. I'm on my New Game Plus run, trying to beat the entire thing, kill the Valkyrie Queen on New Game Plus.
Leads her to doing a bunch of fucked up shit, but you as a viewer are not supposed to agree with every single decision that she makes because in the real world, people are complex and sometimes make stupid, irrational, emotional decisions. When you say that you don't think Joel did anything wrong, does that include lying to her? You don't think it's wrong at all that he lied to her, and you don't think it makes any sense that she could be mad at him for lying to her?
And we also get to meet Jesse, the Asian cuck character, who only exists to implant his seed within Dina so that our great
Asian cuck character
greatest ally can continue to propagate their species.
What? He only exists to implant his seed into Dina so our greatest ally can propagate their species. Bro, why are you talking about these human beings as if they were cattle? This is just so fucking strange. So when he says that our greatest allies are propagating their species, I think he means having more Jewish children because in the video game Dina is Jewish. But
hey, listen, I like a nice unique nose. That's what I like to call it. I do that.
In the TV show, Dina is Hispanic, not Jewish. You would think that if Neil Druckmann, the Jewish creator of the game, was really wanting to make sure that we're showing pro-Jewish mating propaganda, that he would have cast a Jewish girl in this role. But maybe, just maybe, the creators of this show actually aren't trying to push pro-Jewish mating propaganda. They just cast a girl for the role that they thought did a good job. In the video game, Dina was like...
I mean, if they were trying to engage in some kind of Jewish supremacy, wouldn't they keep the character Jewish?
the only main Jewish character, but in the TV show, they made her not Jewish anymore. How do you possibly explain this within your Jewish conspiracy theory mindset? You would think that if the creators of the show were really obsessed with pushing Jewish propaganda, that they wouldn't have taken the one main Jewish character out of the show.
And you might think I'm joking, but no. Fucking Jesse does nothing in The Last of Us Part 2. He even dies like a bitch, just so that two lesbians can raise a half-Asian, half-Jewish child. Not propaganda.
Okay, I don't know. It sounds like kind of an interesting conversation. Like, hey, I want you guys to live so you can raise, the future of the world here, because I don't know if you know this, everybody's dead. Because of the zombies.
Propaganda, though.
But in the TV show, the baby is not going to be Jewish anymore because Dina is Hispanic, so your entire narrative falls on its head. Unless you think that an Asian person and a Hispanic person having a baby together is somehow pushing Asian-Hispanic miscegenation.
Well, like, his whole thing is that, like he said before, if it's just trying to race mix to apparently make the races weaker or something. I don't know. That's his fucking idiot argument. I guess that would be it. But usually, a lot of these racist people, they usually like Asians because they have like it's like the model. It's like the model minority kind of a whole thing. Like they're like, oh, these are some of the good ones. That's like their very racist take on everything.
Asian propaganda. I cannot even follow this insane shit.
And in the scene right after this, we see Joel interact with Dina, Big Schnozzer's self, except...
Big schnoz herself. That's crazy. It's wild because like YouTube's been like over policing. I fucking made a joke like about like a Jewish people, and I am fucking ethnically Jewish, so it's like whatever. And like they fucking took the video down. They ended up putting it back up after I complained and like I escalated. But it's like, what are you guys doing? How the fuck are you gonna give me this shit? I'm not saying ban this guy, but like, why the fuck am I getting hit when this motherfucker's saying wild ass shit?
There's
what
only
the
one
fuck is crazy
problem. This woman's nose is normal sized.
Oh,
what?
God.
This is the worst miscasting
not the normal nose
since Ellie.
So now we're complaining that the Hispanic girl that they cast to play this role.
I love how he tries to complain that they're race changing characters just to push a message of adding more black people or whatever into the show, and then they're getting rid of Jewish people, which this synthetic man does not like, and because to put in whatever other character, because they're just apparently casting based on who they think would be the best actress, and he still doesn't like it. Like he's just very inconsistent.
Doesn't have as big of a nose as the Jewish girl that played.
I like the Jewish girl's nose more, to be honest with you, but okay.
The role in the video game. Do you have any fucking commentary to give outside of just talking about people's appearances or races?
And then in the scene after this, we are reminded that Tommy's wife is black. I actually completely forgot about this. But as you know, race swapping isn't woke, so it's fine. And as you might remember, in season 1, they blackwashed Joel's biological daughter. So it looks like both brothers got jungle fever. And we also see Tommy's kid. Interesting.
Oh no, now the show is promoting pro-Hispanic and black mating propaganda. Isn't your perspective that the Jews are trying to get white people to mate with black people, but now you're mad that Hispanic people are mating with black people?
He's just gonna complain about everything under the fucking sun. That's the whole point,
Why would you be mad that Hispanic and black people have mixed race children under your worldview if you already view them both as inferior races? None of this makes any fucking sense, dude. Maybe, and I know this is insane, just hear me out here, maybe sometimes people of two different races meet each other and fall in love and have,
especially in an apocalypse, if all you got left is like a black person or a white person to date and you don't like the other person, you're probably gonna be like, fuck it, I gotta get that fucking wet because I gotta make a baby, you know what I mean? Maybe that's all it is.
Have children together, and there's nothing wrong with that.
This is not propaganda, though. I'm just a racist.
No, Synthetic Man, I don't think you're just a racist.
He certainly is, but he's more than that. He's also incredibly ugly. Don't forget forgot about that.
think you are also stupid. So far,
True. I forgot about that one. Fuck.
we're only 10 minutes into his video, but I think I've had just about enough of this. Later on, he says that everyone is gonna hate the second episode where they kill off Joel and the viewership is gonna fall off a cliff.
In any case, I expect a severe drop-off in viewership as soon as they kill Pedro Pascal. You know, kind of like all the fucking refunds there were for The Last of Us 2, and for all of us who were smart enough to view the leaks a month beforehand, all the purchases that never happened in the first place.
But as we've seen, the second episode has a 9.4 on IMDb, and in general, the public seems to be enjoying the second season. It turns out that most normal people aren't locked in a mental prison where they're constantly looking around trying to find race-mixing conspiracies everywhere. But of course, he'll say that this is just because they're normies and they haven't woken up to the Jewish question or whatever. Look, if you enjoy analyzing media only through the lens of whether or not certain female characters are attractive enough and whether or not certain races are mating with each other, you can feel free to keep doing that, but I prefer to analyze media through things like story and subtext and themes and cinematography and
the existence of lesbians, because that do be hot.
acting, yada yada yada. I just think that this alt-right mind prison that this dude has locked himself into seems like a very sad and miserable experience. And I don't think the TV shows are promoting race mixing because Jews are trying to weaken the white race. I think that a lot of TV shows just have mixed race couples because they think that's what's marketable. I promise you that if showing
Probably.
mixed race couples stopped being marketable, they would stop doing it.
Well, but that's his whole point, is that like that market, like, I understand what Ryan's saying. It's like, it's not that deep. It's just about like reacting to what they think people want. But to this guy will be like, oh no, see, like that's proof that I'm right. That's part of like the whole narrative or whatever bullshit. Like that's the whole point. He's going to say that that's actually supports his narrative, and he's also going to go with like a Jews love money like stereotype too, you know?
Because Hollywood
He's racist.
only cares about fucking money. And all I know is
I love fucking money with my penis.
I'm gonna enjoy watching the rest of this season without being perpetually obsessed with attractiveness and race. I'm sure there are tons of valid criticisms to be made about The Last of Us Season 2, but if you're gonna make criticisms, just try your best to not make them as
You
stupid
guys saw I did shoulders today? Oh, my traps are fucking fire.
as this morons. Anyway, thank you for sticking around till the end of the video. I would really appreciate if you would consider supporting the
Oh, yeah, I
channel
gotta do
on
that. Remind me again.
Patreon or supporting the channel by becoming a member down below. I'm gonna be
Make sure to remind me after the stream.
posting videos that are exclusive for
banging going
Patreon members or members of the channel to make sure that you get a good bang for your buck. Supporting me in this way helps make it possible for me to take on more risky artistic endeavors, and it just helps me feel a bit more financially secure during these insane times we're living in. But obviously, no pressure whatsoever. And with that, I will see you next time.
All right, beautiful stuff.
A response.
Appreciate it, Ryan. I love you. Mwah.